Hey Nick, we need a tagline for the podcast.
No.
Real life opinions. Movie reviews told by fans and not critics.
And yeah, here we are in the boiler room of the database cameras.
Talking to your microphone more properly, Corey.
Talking into my microphone more properly.
If we were in the boiler room, then I'd have to climb your really shitty ladder over there. Just
I love my ladder.
Oh, should we tell Laura she's got to talk louder?
No!
Okay.
We tried.
Danny, you have to talk quieter.
Okay.
Why
Why are you in agreement and I'm not today?
So I'm gonna
I did too. I had to go fix an oven.
stay in the whole room.
You win.
Tried not to vomit.
No, actually, it went away. That Thursday did not suit me well.
Disclaimer, if anybody was buying meat at Superstore on Thursday, or buying meat
Oh
from
no, I was
Superstore.
wrapping everything, and I had scanned the counters. I was like, I told my boss, I'm going home. I've been only here for an hour and a half, but I get paid for the full day, right? He's like, yeah. All right. See ya.
Yeah, that wasn't beef stew you bought. It was just beef.
Corey, why are we in the boiler room?
You know, it's funny. Like, my wife said the same thing. So we're pushing our second year now, and this is our first time doing the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that I'm surprised that we haven't got to yet, to be perfectly honest.
It's true.
Because there was a bunch of stuff. Remember when we first did this, we said, oh yeah, eventually we'll get to Star Wars, but not quite right now. We haven't done, and not that I'm asking to do this, but I'm proud of us that we haven't even fucking thought about doing a Star Wars property, let alone done one.
I can honestly say when Star Wars happens, I'm thick.
Yeah.
Laura,
No.
if I had to watch Strangeland, you have to watch a Star Wars movie.
I live with Victor. I've seen them all.
Oh,
Spoiler alert, Vader dies in the end.
what? But Palpatine,
Fine, just-
spoiler alert, Palpatine doesn't.
Or was it a clone?
I don't, yeah.
This is Star Wars. No dork wars, okay?
That's funny.
So she was surprised we haven't done the first
Nightmare, yeah.
Nightmare on what? Is there a street in which there's a nightmare?
I said it to begin with.
Well, they say Elm Street, but it takes up all of the kids, so it's not just on one street.
No, they all live in Elm Street in the first
I
one.
all live
In the first one,
In the
yeah.
first one, yeah.
After that, no, it's
No.
just the town.
Or like in Freddy's Dead, every town has an Elm Street.
Yeah. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know if I'd actually seen the first one or not before this. Like, I knew scenes from this because it's so iconic, like the bed fucking exploding with blood and like the long arms in the hall in the alleyway. I knew of all that stuff, but like I was rewatching this. I'm just like, have I actually seen this movie? And I'm like, I don't remember.
I liked the intro. I forgot how the intro started, where he was setting up his knives.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what is this, movie or is this the intro? How did I miss this part?
I thought that was so amazing because normally these iconic horror franchise, it takes a long time before they establish these iconic things. And there it is, right at the very beginning, right?
Him making his knives.
Yep.
So knives. I was like, oh, that's cool. All right.
You see the boiler room right off the bat,
Yeah.
You see a little bit of his shirt right off the bat, right? Like all the iconic things.
No, I was just thinking. What
Makes him uncomfortable.
What I liked was I like Freddy.
Quit being racist. It makes the rest of us feel uncomfortable.
I can't. No, what I like about skipping way ahead to Freddy versus Jason, how that movie also did a backstory for him, and it did a really good job. Like for being one of the cheesiest movies in the franchise. It's probably the best backstory for both characters.
I was gonna echo that sentiment about like that. Is that the first time where it's been like the true Freddy backstory in one cohesive bit?
Yeah. But on about the first movie and introducing a young Johnny Depp.
Seamless. The professional.
So I have Robert Englund's autobiography, and great read. Have it signed and everything. But he was talking about Johnny Depp, and he said, so this kid comes in to the set, slick back, long black hair, pointed cowboy boots, just an air about him, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to try this acting thing out. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be a musician.
Well,
Johnny Depp.
Even at what, 16? No, I think he was about 16 at that
Probably
one.
17, yeah.
16, 17, yeah.
pretty young in this movie.
Yeah. And then Amanda Weiss. I actually had a Instagram conversation with her once. We were talking about Better Off Dead because she's the girl in it. And we just started talking. So
Which one's Amanda Weiss?
Tina.
Tina's
The one that
Amanda
died at
Weiss?
the beginning there, yeah.
Okay.
So.
I wasn't too sure if it was Tina or if it was Nancy. So
No. Nancy is Heather Langenkamp.
Did anyone else catch the joke that Nancy made? In there, there was like a joke that I had to Google. She makes a joke about like, I think they're supposed to be 16 or something in it. And she looks in the mirror after not sleeping for all the days, and she goes, I look like I'm 20. And then I Googled it. She was 20 when she made this movie. I laughed so hard when I
Yeah. She, as far as a final girl goes, she's not in my top list at all, but she was still fun. So
When you say final girl, do you mean the actress or do you mean the character?
the character.
Oh, Nancy's like,
Well, she's iconic, but I just don't know.
And ironically enough, she's the only one to reprise her role in multiple movies for the franchise.
Yeah, because even with
I thought they brought back some of the Dream Warriors
Actually,
between 3
yeah.
and 4.
Well, okay, yeah, they bring
Yeah.
back a few of them for number 4, but they die off pretty quick.
yeah, but
Oh yeah, like instantly in number 4, don't they?
right at the beginning, yeah, the opening introduction there. The girl who played Kristen in part 3 was actually Patricia Arquette.
Yep.
So, but then in part 4 they recast her. So, yeah, Patricia Arquette. Her whole family's kind of known. They've done a little bit of horror here and there, but that's David Arquette's sister, I believe. And he did 8-Legged Freaks after all.
He's a horror veteran.
And Scream, of course. Yeah.
Laura, I'm going to ask you, I don't have a list. Maybe you do, Danny, but Laura, do you have a list of your final girls? Like, where would Nancy land on your list?
She's about middle for that
Well,
one.
like middle of your top 10 or like middle of them all?
Middle of them all, and there's probably about 40. So, yeah. She ranks about 20.
So that's pretty far down. What about you, Danny?
Sorry, no.
Nope.
I watched the whole movies, but no.
Yeah.
I moved on to sci-fi. So.
See, my list is always changing because it depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it really depends on the movie. So,
Are we talking horror final girls or just final
In general.
girls?
There's a difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Because my top 2 final girls are Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor. And those aren't horror.
I hate to break it to you. Actually, the first Alien movie and the first Terminator movie are horror movies.
the first Terminator is not a horror movie.
The first Terminator...
No, it's not.
How,
Are we gonna argue this about this again?
how is the first Terminator not a horror
It's
movie?
not a horror movie.
That movie's clearly a horror movie.
I mean, the only thing I can say to his side is if the Terminator was a Jason-esque figure, it would play out exactly the same.
That's
So-
why it's a horror.
No.
The only difference between that and any other slasher is that he's a robot from the future. Other than that, that is a horror movie through and through.
But
Yeah, a robot can be a killing machine.
That's
Literally.
because man made them that way.
But that doesn't mean that it's not a horror.
I mean, there's a lot of horror movies
Actually,
that are man-made.
it does make sense because that, which was it, that Freddy Me or whatever, with those animal robots?
Yeah,
What it was
Five
up-
Nights at Freddy's.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can.
Yeah,
But they were ghosts. So that's still
But they were
horror.
robots.
But they were ghosts.
They were, yeah,
They were robot
But
ghosts.
they were robots.
they were possessed. And either way, no. Just no.
The only, like, I think if your logic that the Terminator movie isn't a horror movie, and I'm not saying T2 or any of the other ones are. The T2 is a quintessential action movie, but like, did we have this discussion when we did Terminator?
Probably.
Yeah,
Most
probably.
likely.
Hey, I think it was just you and me at that time, wasn't it?
No, I was there for that one. And
For the original Terminator?
And I still disagree with you.
I don't see how everything about that movie, except for, like, there can be a science fiction horror. That is a real thing.
It's not a horror movie because it doesn't excite me the right way. So there.
You're sitting
I
beside
feel
Laurie.
uncomfortable sitting beside her right now.
There are movies a lot less scary that I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Are you making your exodus, Corey?
No.
I would put my legs down.
No.
Anyway, moving on. And they're both final girls from horror movies.
Yeah, well, regardless, that's my top two final girls. So
I don't know how you didn't think that would lead into that. Those are actually horror movies. Like at least the first movies of the franchises.
well, I mean, I think Ellen Ripley was more badass in the second one.
And you know what? The fact that Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor are considered final girls proves I'm right. Like, they wouldn't be final girls if they weren't in horror movies. So I'm correct. Boom, yeah, science.
I don't think Final Girl is
Boom,
exclusively
yeah,
horror.
science.
Uh-oh.
Oh, listen, the neighbors are next door.
Hopefully Green will cut it out.
Nope. Now you gotta hear it on the thing. One of these days, we're gonna get the sound issues figured out.
Hey, at least he's not going to go off.
Yeah.
I could probably keep it low now. I mean, it's getting nicer out, and I don't know when it's getting
Yeah,
colder
yeah.
yet. So.
Moving
Anyway,
on from
Next
here.
weekend.
Anyway. yeah,
Let's get close to it.
nice, excellent, fantastic.
So when I hit a year, we'll have better stuff. Is that when I hit a
Well,
year?
we're already
Yeah, we're pushing 2
almost
years,
2
by the
years
way,
now. So I want to say something about the aesthetics of movies from the 80s. I noticed, huh?
You're better?
Well, they feel like real places, right? Like you watch movies today, and most of the movies today don't feel like you're in a fucking real place anymore. And half the time, you're not in a real place. Like the bigger budget stuff, everything's so CGI, right?
The sound studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this movie,
In Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Or just Atlanta.
Or Atlantic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or Atlanta.
Oh, or from Vancouver.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since anything major's come out of Vancouver, which is unfortunate. So.
No. But there's been a lot of good stuff from Vancouver.
Oh, totally is. It's more Hollywood North than Toronto is, contrary to their thoughts.
I remember when the four kids were sitting on the couch, and I was like, oh my god, I love that couch. The couch is like that, like it reminds me of the couch we're sitting on right now.
It's a great coach.
It's an amazing couch.
4 kids.
Yeah.
2 couples. There was Rod and Tina,
I
and
guess-
Glenn and Nancy.
They don't sit on the couch.
The three of them were. Oh yeah, the 2 girls were. And then,
Either way.
and then Glenn was
They're all in the
across,
same
and
room.
then the other guy he came in.
Rod.
Yeah, that guy's a bit of a pervert, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like no wonder they thought he murdered her.
Well, he was the only one in the room with her.
Yeah, well, but.
And fucking talking that crazy shit like, oh, there's claws out of nowhere. They're invisible knives. Like, Cuckoo.
Slasher. I was watching. They were in the bed with us.
Could you, why wouldn't you have done something? He just, sat in the corner and, watched her go up the wall.
Shock.
I guess.
Well, at that point, when she's crawling up the wall without actually crawling, it's more a case of where the
Dragging,
fuck's the pulley.
More
It
what?
was Freddy,
Where's the
okay?
pulley?
Mm-hmm.
Freddy's real.
Just because you have him tattooed on your arm doesn't make him real.
That was a glove anyway.
Right?
Although I do plan on getting more Freddy stuff on this arm, so.
So yeah. You see, I think you're like, oh yeah, Corey's gonna go into something. Well, let him run with it, and then just yeah.
I liked the subtleness of the crucifix dropping upside down.
And
Like-
falling off the wall.
Yeah, but it drops up down first,
Yes.
and then they fix it, and then I just thought that was for the fact that there was no real demonic association with that movie, it added a little bit of evil to it, even more than it was. So
Well, there was a little bit of Exorcist was still in the popular consciousness at the time, so that kind of imagery, still would have resonated with the youth at that
10
time,
years
right?
after, exactly, 10 years after. Yeah.
Was it that long
Yeah.
after? Oh, I didn't realize it had
Yeah.
been that long after. I thought Exorcist was 79, not
Nope,
74.
Yeah.
You see Nancy clutching that thing a couple times too,
Mhm.
Yeah.
oh, Christ can protect me.
Guess not.
Well, the ending's kind of ambiguous, but I'm just I kind of think Nancy got at the end, but I guess she didn't get
No,
got.
'cause she came back for 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the ending.
That was about the only thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
that.
the ending really sucks.
Oh,
Where the mom gets picked up and all you see.
Right through the window in the door.
And it's just an ass.
Yeah, it was pretty phony.
it was so bad.
Then mannequin.
I actually saw you could buy a die-cast model of their car with the striped canopy.
Mm-hmm.
I almost bought that. So
I like the idea of that downer ending. At first, it's just oh, she defeated Freddy Krueger by not believing in him.
Right.
it's so cheesy, but yet really quite ingenious at the same time.
Well, it didn't really fucking work at all, did it?
Yeah,
But that's the concept throughout all
but it
of
saved
them.
her life.
Right? And that's the concept through all of them. If they don't believe, he's not going to get them.
Although part 5, when Chicky is bench pressing, she's
Yeah.
like, "I don't believe in you." He's like, "I believe in you."
This is how I get around this one.
Yeah.
It turns out it doesn't fucking do nothing anyway. Her not believing, oh, Freddy disappeared, and then instantly, the next scene, he's back.
But look at how Freddy versus Jason again, because I do go back to the movie a lot. Is the whole town had stopped believing, and all the people that did know, they put them on drugs that would suppress their dreams.
And stuck him in a nut house.
Yeah, and so he was not around anymore because nobody believed. And then he what's called in hell found Jason, who had been killed technically, and he brought him back. Yeah, but he brought him back so that he could bring Freddy's name back in. So he wanted to kill on behalf of Freddy though, and then Jason started killing on his own. And Freddy's like, "Stop killing! You're supposed to be doing this for me." And then that's why they end up fighting each other. So
How does it make you feel that was the last Freddy movie in this continuity?
That had Robert Englund or...
Yeah, in this continuity, it was the last one.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
I still love that movie, except for Kelly Rowland. But otherwise, I love that movie.
It's sad though when you go into it and you're thinking that, this is the last time we're actually going to see the Freddy that any of us like.
Mm-hmm.
Because the new one sucks.
The new one was awful, beyond awful, which is too bad because the actor was fantastic, or is fantastic, not in that movie. But I'm on board with them making a new one if they can keep at least the theme, the element alive, and the talks of Kevin Bacon, Devon Sawa, all those guys. I'm I can get behind that.
I can as long as You know what? I could get behind it if they got Robert Englund to sit down and they made the cast from his face to actually do this. For the mask?
Or at least the same model style. It doesn't have to look like Robert Englund, but like the way they did it in the remake, it was just, I get it. It made him look like he was a burn victim, but no.
Right?
I don't think they're ever going to recapture why Freddy was popular, because I didn't see the full new one, but I seen enough of it. It was too serious, which was what was wrong with it. And Freddy was always kind of playful and mischievous. Like, this is probably the most serious he is. Like, is he more serious than number 2?
No, number 2 is a fucking joke.
Yeah, we don't talk about number 2.
I don't want, when I'm doing a marathon, I skip number 2.
Yeah, number 2 I've seen, but I vaguely remember what he was like. This is probably the closest to like an extremely serious Freddy. Well, maybe what's it called? A New Nightmare.
New Nightmare was fantastic.
I guess he was pretty serious in that one.
Yeah.
But like the rest of them, he gets more charismatic and I want to say goofy, but that's doing it a bit of a discredit.
No, goofy works.
No, yeah, and it's like, and it goes back to Freddy versus Jason, the whole got your nose.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the fucking pinball machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, New Nightmare is so incredibly good, like indescribably good, and so meta, because that was the point of the movie, that it just, that's my favorite movie in the series.
I think that's why they couldn't recapture it, because like it's hard to make that movie now with that character, because that character's too iconic. So you're either going to make it, you got to make it serious to respect the character, right? Because if you make it goofy, well then you're disrespecting Freddy, right? So you try to make it serious to make it respectful to the character. Well, then that loses its actual appeal of the character, right? Like it's a losing battle, which is why they should just not touch it.
There's that, and there's a lot of people coming in and they're going, well, we want to see the whole story, but then they screw up the story.
Well, fuck that remake. Oh, it turns out he was just a pedophile and blah blah. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
That wasn't Freddy. He was a child killer.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, granted, a lot of people who are child killers are
pedophiles.
Yeah. But yeah, still.
But that wasn't even brought into the whole thing. I mean, the idea behind it wasn't so much that when you're going into it, you're going to hate Freddy. That wasn't there at all.
Mm-hmm.
You have a love-hate relationship with him, yes, but you don't hate him.
You kind of, Freddy's that fucking despicable person, but kind of deep down, you're kind of rooting for him, right?
Yes.
I've always wanted a Freddy dream, and I never had one, and it pissed me off.
Right.
So.
Then again, Corey, we're deranged enough that he'd come into our dreams and be like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to have a dream too in which I could die and get lacerated in the middle of it. Yeah. Yay! Danny's just laughing uncontrollably because it's ridiculous, right, man? It's ridiculous.
I'm not saying that I want him to kill me. I just want him to be in my dream.
What's the Halloween these days?
Yeah. We're gonna subconsciously play some Nightmare on Elm Street stuff.
Okay, you know what?
We consciously play Nightmare on Elm Street stuff at Halloween anyways.
But he could do that and I'd probably have the best night's sleep that I've had in a long time.
Before you kill me, there's this apartment building. I know some people. Then I'm yours.
Nightmare on Mount Pleasant.
That sounds all right.
I will willingly give myself over, but take the keys first. Here, go.
They were saying bad things about you and stuff.
They hate boilers and people who wear knives on their hands.
They want me to take the boilers out of the building.
Yeah. Too much of a pussy to wear a glove on your left hand.
Don't hurt the puppies.
Did you guys? Another thing from the '80s that I've noticed with some of these older ones that we've covered, the fucking music's on point, eh?
Always.
The score, yeah.
Like every scene, it is so tense, right? Like they know how to build tension through the music back then. I feel like it's lost in today's movie making.
It is. Because, going into it, and that's why a lot of us are so desensitized to horror movies, is you get used to the score. So
Yeah, you
can,
read the music and
exactly,
yeah.
you know what's happening because of the music.
Yeah. Which they started making fun of later on, like because that high pitched like violin-y type thing.
Yeah.
You knew something was happening, but then they would do it, and nothing would happen.
Right.
And so they finally figured it out, I guess.
Well, that was Scream that kind of started that trend, right? Like
Yeah,
the fake outs.
Yeah.
Because he fully explains the whole thing in there.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
like,
Wes Craven.
right?
Anyway.
It's just like every movie from the 70s and 80s, especially horror movie, you can pinpoint who's going to die first.
Usually, yeah.
There
Yeah.
is always a metric system to who's dying first.
What's the metric system for?
It's the dumb blonde, the jock, usually the stoner, and
It's
then
usually the dumb blonde first, though.
yes,
Dumb blonde first, then the jock,
Yeah.
then the
the
stoner.
stoner or
Oh.
the nerdy guy, because it's going to be the nerdy girl that lives.
Even
virgin.
Freddy versus Jason, it was the dumb jock first. So
Right, but that's the one where they started mixing things up, but the dumb blonde still dies.
Johnny Depp is neither nerdy nor.
he was jockey. He wore a football fucking
But
crop
he
top.
wasn't, he wasn't a jock in this movie, though.
He was the love interest. And the
The love interest is normally the last to die, right?
Yes.
But he was like second to die, wasn't he?
No.
No,
Was he after Rod?
Yes.
I thought he was before Rod.
No.
if you don't count the mum, he's the last one to die.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't count the mum death, he's the last one to die.
Yeah, but he's the love interest, so he's the last one.
I think you have to go when you say the pothead or the nerd, you have to do a
Was he the
broader.
last one to die? I thought
Yes.
Really? Because I thought.
The mom, so the mom is technically the last one to die, but if you discount her and you're just going for the kids, Johnny Depp is the last one.
All right.
What the fuck happened to the mum?
Got drunk, and then
She was one of the people that killed Freddy, and she was messed up because of it.
yeah, because
No,
he
no, no,
takes
no, no.
Nancy into the basement and pulls the glove out of the.
Boiler.
At the end, okay, what the fuck happened? Because there was like a scene where she gets sucked into the bed and disappears. Like her fucking skeleton goes like, gets sucked in, and then the next fucking scene.
Oh, because that was supposed to be it was supposed to have been a dream, and that's why she comes back. So
Yeah.
But is that what happened?
I don't know. Like I said, the ending is
The mother is in hell. That's all we need to know.
Okay, so the mum actually did.
Did mom
Duh.
did die? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because that was
sorry.
by getting sucked into a bed.
Well, after she was burnt to a crisp. Yes.
Yeah, because Freddy jumped on top of her, and then
Burnt her. Yeah.
that really, like, the movie starts to lose me at that point. I'm not gonna lie.
It's the end of the movie, and they're trying to find that just the right climax, and they don't have it. So
They're trying to figure out how to fucking kill this unkillable character, and they haven't figured it out yet.
yeah, and then all of a sudden it's, well, I know you're there, Freddy, but I don't believe in you. So how can you be there if you don't believe in them?
But isn't? Oh, there's a knock at the door. We better take a pause. So, as we've learned again, that all the problems of the world can be solved by just a simple conversation.
Unless you're
90% of the time.
Unless you're Freddy.
No,
Unless you're
there's a
Freddy.
conversation first, then he kills you.
Well, this is true.
Or at least a one-liner.
You know what? I bet you if in your dream you went, I hate children too. Especially those little fuckers from Elm Street. I bet you'd get along with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a good guy.
He does kind of seem like a good guy.
The girl won't be on you, Fred. Your face is all burnt. I fucking love the Will Smith Nightmare on My Street song.
I thought it was going to be at the end of this movie. When did that come out?
That would have come out after 2 because he was alluding to 2, but at the same time talking about 1. So it would have come out after 2. So it would have probably been like 88, maybe 89.
When did Will Smith start rapping? Like,
Probably.
he was an 80s rapper? I thought he was like started in the 90s.
I got it.
All right. Miss Google's here.
Yay!
Hey, Danny, you should Google something.
He has told you guys off.
I know.
Every time.
That's why I did it. But he completely failed to deliver, so I'm a little upset right now.
You're
So.
supposed to be the guy in the chair, Danny.
He
You're
is the guy
in the chair. Oh. So
next week.
Just type in when Nightmare on Elm Street come up. So just type in the song Nightmare on Elm
she
Street.
knows what to type. She knows what to type.
I don't think she does.
Oh, we really need a technical department on Real Life Opinions.
Oh yeah.
Can we hire some technical people? Or, like, are we just going to continue doing this where we fumble through
I
everything in
will
life?
smack you.
Fight! 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 Fight!
Just like the mic, you know. It's not like you're
88.
Huh, so he was an 80s rapper.
That's when he was still a teenager, I think. So.
Laura was about to make a point, and then she totally stopped.
That's because Corey was talking. Number 4, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, was when they were considered for an inclusion into that movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes sense, because, like, by 4, they were getting...
Funny.
Yeah.
4 was the first movie. Well, 3 was the first movie he had a one-liner, but 4 he was flat out funny. So, it's the other reason I say 2 is because like Freddy says to him in the song, it's like you've got the body, I've got the brains, which is a direct scene from part 2. So,
guys, what was the best? I know we talked one time about the best deaths in the Freddy Krueger movies. You weren't here yet, Danny. This was almost a year ago now when we were talking about it, right?
I think Corey and I both agreed on Johnny Depp being sucked into the waterbed.
yeah, Johnny Depp and Philip, those are my 2 favorites.
Which one's Philip?
The puppeteer one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one was really good too.
So I thought it was the Johnny Depp one with the. So that'd be the best one out of this movie, Danny. What's the best death in this movie? Is it the bed shooting up with blood? There's a lot of fucking blood there,
There's
right?
a lot of blood there, yeah.
And it was practical too. It wasn't even digital. So,
Like they use real blood?
wow. They didn't use special effects.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that one would probably be.
Not the stupid mum skeleton.
No.
literally, it's either going to be Tina's or Johnny Depp's, and that's it.
And it's Johnny Depp.
Like Tina's is fucking traumatic.
Tina's is intense.
That one is, but Johnny Depp's is still. That one's my favorite.
Johnny Depp's is traumatic for like a different reason, but
Yeah,
Tina's
a heartthrob gets sucked into a bed.
I like Joey in part 4 when he gets sucked into his waterbed, and then the mom goes. All of a sudden the mom's going into the room and she can't find him, and she pulls back his blankets and he's inside the bladder of the waterbed.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That one is a complete throwback to.
Yeah,
Johnny
totally.
Depp.
Well, and it's a throwback to also the tub as well, right?
Yep.
With the drowning in the tub.
Yep.
Who else finds it creepy that his hand comes up right in her crotch area?
I actually saw a behind the scenes shot of that too. It was pretty funny. Because it wasn't an actual, or it was someone's actual hand, but they had the thing underwater. Of course, she's pretty big too. But yeah, that's still creepy. So
Darn.
I was so upset she was in a bathing suit.
but yeah, that scene was actually, in my opinion, from my first viewing watching when I was 5 years old, that scene stuck out with me the most.
That's a fucking freaky ass scene.
Yeah.
You know what? At 5, and you're watching that, you're probably like, "I'm never taking a bubble bath again."
Yeah.
So, pardon me for not understanding what you were saying there, Corey, because you're kind of tapering off on your points today. I don't know why you're kind of doing that.
I don't know. Drugs are bad.
Yeah. So that was a that was a puppet? Is that what you were trying to say?
I was gonna say I think it was, and then I remembered no, it wasn't. So
So it was an actual.
it was.
Okay.
It wasn't an actual bathtub. Obviously, it was retrofitted prop piece to look like a bathtub.
You mean they couldn't fit an entire person underneath of her?
Turns out. So, you're mocking me, aren't you?
No. We're laughing at you inside.
We're not laughing with you. We're laughing at you. I mean, wait. Oh.
Oh, so even if she's wearing a bathing suit, that's still kind of creepy that somebody was down there.
Especially considering, she was 20, but still, she was young, so.
Yeah, but she's playing a 16-year-old in the
Yeah.
movie, right?
That's like the whole Wednesday thing. People who fantasize about Wednesday. It's like, yeah, but Jenna Ortega's like 21. I'm like, yeah, but the character's 16, you sick fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is that dance scene in that Wednesday show that I let the dance
I think
dance?
it's over now. Like,
No, it's not.
isn't it?
No.
Fuck.
Is
That was a great show. Don't get me wrong. I love that show.
And she came up with that all on her own.
the dancing thing?
Yeah.
The song that they play on TikTok, is that the song they use in the show?
It's a remake of another. Oh fuck! I can't remember what it is now.
I don't.
I don't remember. I can't remember what the song was now.
Okay.
I watched it when it came out, so.
I know there's a shit ton of TikToks. Mocking the dancer, like emulating the dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I don't know. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know if that song's the right song or not. So
Yeah, I know it was a well done show for sure. It is. I just can't remember when. So.
The fall.
I don't wait that long.
why does Netflix take so fucking long for their shows?
Because they know people are going to wait for them because there's nothing on TV.
I have forgotten about
And
Stranger
plus
Things.
Plus she played, she was a Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
They had to wait for her.
And she was
And Tim Burton was part of the
the
movie.
worst part of Beetlejuice too.
Anyway, Tim Burton and her were in Beetlejuice before they had to start the next season. They had to finish that, and then they could start season 2.
That makes sense.
And Stranger Things, I have no idea.
I think it's October.
Is it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Was Burton a director or producer of Wednesday?
Director. Wow.
Well,
It's episodes, right? So the director, like the main director, always does like an episode or 2 or 3, but he doesn't do all of them. Generally, keywords. Some do, but generally not.
Well, Netflix show it can be the same.
Creator to it.
Well, creator in the fact that it's an established character.
Yeah, I guess, but one of the producers to it, I guess, would be.
He would definitely be a producer, yes.
Okay. So, did they ever say that they're divorced, the mom and the dad in this movie? They never fucking say that, do they?
They're not though.
Aren't they divorced?
No.
They clearly don't live together. Like, you don't ever...
I think he spends all his time at work. It's not that they're not living together. He's just never there.
He says to the one deputy, oh, go check on my daughter's house. Or go check where my daughter lives. Not like, go check at my place. He says, no.
I thought he said go check my daughter. Okay.
No, he like says like either lives or house.
Oh, maybe.
I might have the quote wrong, but I remember it was pretty much said, go check on where my daughter lives or where my daughter sleeps, alluding to the fact that he's not living there, but my daughter is.
On similar note, Frick John Saxon was great in that movie.
Is that the dad?
Yeah.
But I don't understand what made him great.
He's very, very stoic. He's really good at like it's like I always say like the Muppet Christmas Carol, right?
That's
You
his
got
face.
silliness around here, but you got this guy acting as serious as a heart attack. So
Oh, why is my phone ringing? You want to take another pause there, Corey?
oh, maybe there we go.
Sorry about the non-professionalism.
Being that it's early enough, maybe I will do some editing for this one.
Edited Schmedit. Anyway, so we were talking about Saxon, that's his last name?
John Saxon.
I think, I don't want to tell you you're wrong or anything like that, but
Good.
you're...
I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he serious in this movie because he's serious, or is he acting his ass off, or is he serious in this movie because that fucking actor always looks like he's serious?
That's fair.
No, he looks serious because when he smiles, he looks creepy.
No.
He looks. Oh my god! Who's scarier, him or Freddy? Like, look at that picture.
If he smiles, I'm gonna go with him.
I liked him again in part 3 as well.
He wasn't in part 2,
No, because Nancy came back in 3, right? And then he was
But-
with her dad. So
but there's still cops around.
no,
There's no cops in the second one?
No. Except for the gay bar.
There's a gay bar in the second one?
That movie has been recognized by like the LGBT community as like one of their movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They caught that one.
Yeah. No, there's like S&M in that and like all the so
Huh.
As long as they don't claim T2
no, T3.
or T3, yeah.
Yeah, they could. I don't think they're going to claim T3. Like,
Well, they might claim the bar.
Yeah.
there's a scene that they can claim, but like,
Christiana Loken was so hot.
yeah. I need you guys to fill me in more about this fucking Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I had no idea about this.
At all. You can still watch it.
Yeah, I guess I can still watch it, but I'm not going to.
That's my theory on that movie.
Oh.
The whole premise is they move into 1428 Elm, which is the address, and of Nancy's old house, and he finds like Nancy's diary and all this stuff. But yeah, and
Who it's totally alluded to that she dies at the end of this.
but she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that whole car, like, obviously Johnny Depp's dead, but he's in that car. Obviously Tina and Rod are dead, but they're in that car. So you'd think that would just be like this is in the afterlife now type thing, but yet not. Again, that's why the ending's so bad.
The whole final part of this movie kind of fucks the whole movie, the more I think about it. Like,
the scene where Freddy was with her and everything, and then her last wish was to have everybody back, like her mom and stuff. And then it ends to it, and I'm like, wait a minute. Are you in heaven?
Yeah, because they get in a car, and then the canopy goes on, and it's all green and red striped and everything. So, and they're not controlling the car. Yeah.
Heck, she said it's you down here or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
In the car she goes.
well, and like the mom shouldn't end up in heaven anyway, right? Like,
No,
she
was an alky.
Yeah.
well,
Just because she was an alky doesn't mean that she shouldn't have been in heaven.
Just kill Freddy.
She
So
murdered somebody and hid the evidence. That's why you end up in hell.
Yeah, that's it.
is it bad that she murdered somebody, or is it even worse because a whole group of people collectively
It was a
decided?
collective act of vigilantism.
Does that make it better or worse?
I mean, I'm pro vigilante, so I can't talk.
Considering the police chief was involved, I think it was okay.
Well, like I said, they don't say that they're together.
But back then they probably were, and that's probably what split them up, wasn't it?
Well, I wonder if that wasn't what split them up.
Yeah.
Like, is that how she became an Elkie? Like, and she wasn't an Elkie at the beginning of the movie.
No, she was.
She seemed a lot more normal and a lot sweeter, and got like worse and more paranoid as the movie continued going.
Well, it becomes more dominant every time Nancy says Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she says his name, the alcoholism becomes more dominant.
Well, that's
She's like, oh, I don't believe you. Deep down inside, she totally believes her. So.
it's total denial, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
The mom arc is actually a really good, character story, I think, like how she gets dolls, like the bars on the window, and that's what ends up making things worse in the end, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I still don't understand if Nancy was dreaming, how was she able to yell out for help and people hear her if she was in... No, she pulled him out of her dreams at that point, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yes. Man, the whole ending of this movie kind of fucks the whole movie.
With something like that, I even thought of it afterwards too. With her showing Nancy the glove and everything, I'm surprised with the ones that burnt him, one of them didn't turn out to be him with that glove on, and take his place.
Holy Halloween Ends.
That's a mindfuck.
If you think of it, come on, right?
That's why everybody hated Halloween Ends too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, although again, I actually like that movie. So.
That probably would have been a good way for them to do the remake, right? Like, you got this traumatic, and then it ends up being one of the parents takes up the mantle, right?
Yeah.
That would have been really good, actually. Though I'm sure people would hate it as well.
Yeah, too. Like these two over here.
You know what? Again, I'm willing to watch anything once, ish. But I if they made another remake, I would watch the crap out of it. I would just have an opinion afterwards. So, like when I watched Nightmare, the new one, like the remake in the theater, I said, somebody asked me, "So what do you think?" I said, I have two ratings for it. I said, as a standalone movie that was never a pre-existing franchise, it's a solid 3 out of 5. As a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, 1 is being generous. So,
What they need to do, you want to make a charismatic Freddy, it's got to be brand new. You gotta make a brand new person, because whatever, like I said earlier, it's either going to be too serious or too goofy. No one's going to find the right balance. Maybe it's possible, but like, fuck, that is a small target to hit.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have people like these things.
Mm-hmm.
Criticize it.
Oh, well.
are you kidding? I'm like the least critical person here. Out of this group,
There's no way that I'm worse than you.
you are fucking awful.
Yeah.
Sorry, you do not get an opinion on it. You keep trying to put things in
Oh
your
no, I
mouth.
think Daddy's more laid back than me. But other than that,
Yeah. Like Laura's full of shit. If
Laura
she
is fucking drugs are bad.
No, they're good. They keep me from killing people.
That's coffee.
I can't. I'm trying to think of the number of movies where Corey's been like, I fucking hate this movie. I think like Shrek 2. Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And we had that conversation once. Like, we got to stop doing movies you like.
yeah. Laura,
Well, stop picking ones that have too much shit in them.
I think
Maybe
the
I'll
problem
like them.
is that, and it's because when I did the movie reviews for the paper, I couldn't trash the theater and say, hey, don't fucking watch this movie. It's a piece of shit. So I always found a spin on it that I could give my opinion, but still tell people to go watch it. And so I kind of stuck with that. So now everything I watch, I look at the bright side of things.
Well, stop that.
I know.
no. Let's not, Laura. You know, you're so critical sometimes, Laura. You just gotta let Corey be the optimist here, okay? We gotta have a little bright shine ray of light.
Danny's not an optimist, but he's fucking Switzerland. So
Says the guy who keeps trying to put non-horrors into horror.
Listen.
that's true. I get passionate about that. The only problem is that every once in a while I start seeing his point. I'm like, and that's the problem with me is accepting people's opinions. Is I start seeing their point, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
That's not a problem.
It is a problem.
It's actually like a good, healthy thing.
Well, probably.
It might be healthy unless the person that he's starting to agree with is wrong.
Well, maybe that person's not wrong, though, and it
So,
brings up valid points.
Have you ever seen the image of a person standing at the end of a 9 and a person standing at the top of the 9, and the one person saying 9, the one person saying 6, and are any one of them wrong? No.
Well, that's wrong, though, because it has to be one or the other, even though by your different viewpoints.
That's what I'm saying. Subjectively, you can have 2 differing subjective opinions.
From your point of view.
And subjective. And what's it called? And yet you can both be right.
Mm-hmm.
So, except for Jeff.
Oh. Laura, how could a person remake A Nightmare on Elm
you
Street?
can't.
Okay. Thanks, conversation.
Thank you for waiting until I get my full words in.
You cannot. They tried this already. You cannot remake it.
There's nothing they could do. There's absolutely.
I do not see how, and a lot of it is, for me, it is because of the portrayal of Freddy.
So what if they somehow or another got Robert Englund back in?
Oh, then I'd totally watch it.
pretty much said he's retiring from acting already. He's going to be 82 this year, so.
And when he finished, like, at one point he did say, you know, if I knew they were going to fuck up my character, I'd go back. I would have gone back and redone
the remakes, so.
But then they actually said, you know, we're not going to make any more. Now they're talking about recasting it with Kevin Bacon, Devon Sawa. But maybe if they went to him for coaching, maybe.
And I think someone like Devon Sawa, who's a seasoned veteran now, like he's been acting since he was a kid, I think he would take that. Kevin Bacon, on the other hand, seems like he's a little too stuck up for that.
Who's Devon Sawa?
Final Destination. He was in the Chucky TV series.
Okay.
He was a kid in. Oh fuck! What was the movie? Oh my god!
I was a kid in the 90s. I can sympathize with this guy.
I can't. He's close to my age. I know that. So he's probably close. He's probably in between mine and your age. So.
Okay. Like Danny's age?
Sure. That's only 1 year off. But sure.
He's 46.
Is he 40? Okay, he's a year older than me. Holy shit.
Casper.
Casper, yeah. He was the kid.
Like he was Casper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you just say the kid from Casper? The
He
dead
was a kid.
Well, the dead kid from Casper.
But yeah, like he's been in the supernatural genre for quite some time. Like, because I mean, obviously Casper's not a horror movie, but it's got a supernatural element.
Look, even I'm not going to make that argument.
And then, like I said, the Chucky TV series.
His brothers are pretty creepy. You know, going by some of the things that they need to be a horror movie, that they would put that in a horror movie before they would put Terminator in a horror
How
movie.
many deaths are there in Casper, not including the ghosts?
At least 3.
Yeah.
No.
No, at least 4 does. At least 4 does.
Yeah, the 3 plus him.
Yeah.
But no, like everything I've seen him in is amazing. So.
Christina Ricci?
Yeah, didn't she die?
Christina Ricci's still alive.
No, but I meant in Casper in the movie.
Yeah, she does die in the
Wouldn't
movie.
it be fine?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's basically.
I think she got to go out of her body, but I don't think she actually died. So.
It's kind of like 13 Ghosts if you think about it.
There you go.
There's the anger and the steam coming from this side of the couch. Like, how dare you compare Casper the Friendly Ghost with 13 Ghosts? How dare you? But there's like a soul machine.
You want the wiffle bat or did I get it?
Fuck the phone.
We're just going right for the bat.
Yeah.
I know Dan Aykroyd shows up in a Ghostbuster costume. Doesn't like the priest from The Exorcist show up in that too?
That's not the priest from The Exorcist, but it's implied, yes.
Okay, it's implied that it's the same priest.
Yeah, because he comes out with his head twisted around and I can't help you.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie, to be honest.
Dan
I think I
Aykroyd.
only saw it once, to be honest. So.
Dan Aykroyd comes out in the Ghostbuster costume. He's just like,
Who are you going to call?
somebody else.
Yeah, I remember that. Do you ever watch Repossessed?
Oh, it sounds familiar.
So it's Leslie Nielsen as the priest trying to exorcise this girl. It's a comedy, obviously, Leslie Nielsen. But the little girl who's possessed is actually Linda Blair. And it's fantastic. And like the thing that got the demon out of the girl was rock and roll. It's a complete spoof of The Exorcist. I remember watching it in the 80s and I freaking loved it, but I can't find it anywhere. So
I love that concept.
yeah.
Rock and roll is what saved your soul.
Yeah.
Oh. So, do I need to ask, guys, what genre is this?
Comedy.
Not yet.
Not
Part 1, not yet.
What were you going to say, Danny?
Western.
He's got a cowboy hat.
I mean, it's a fedora, but good call.
A French movie then?
Porn.
Technically, any Hollywood movie is a foreign movie.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hey, we're all in agreement. This is a horror movie, right?
I hope so.
Like it's there's a small argument for action, but like it's a pretty small argument for action.
You can combine probably 15 minutes of action in that movie.
And there's a little bit of drama as well, but like there's gonna be drama in any movie
Yeah.
except for maybe the Care Bear fucking. Actually, no, there's drama in the Care Bear movie.
Yeah,
So.
man. They almost died.
The Care Bear movie kind of was
It was an
traumatizing as a
intense
kid.
movie, yeah.
It was a bad example.
I'm pretty sure I saw that in theater too.
I don't even know anymore.
I just remember being like, holy fuck, this is kind of dark for
Yeah.
the Care Bear
Yeah.
movie. I don't remember that movie, but I remember like.
And I watched the 80s TV show all the time.
See, that wasn't dark at all.
No.
Yeah.
Care Bear countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's that coming for somewhere up in the sky?
Did you want the bicycle with the helicopter on it? Because I did.
No, I'm still waiting for my Jetson car.
Waiting for my clown car.
Oh, the cloud car from Care Bears. I fucking love it. And like the one asshole, he's got to have like the rainbow going through. Like
right?
just have a car like everybody else.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm a cousin. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, like you guys all hang out together, like, hey, cousin. Like I want to see.
That's racist.
I want to see Care Bears on the reserve because it's a cousin thing. Like, hey, I'm a Care Bear cousin.
Real Life Opinions does not endorse all the views of Jeff.
Not at all.
Meanwhile, should I say?
Oh, yes.
If I ever get arrested, delete all these tapes.
Why did we put all the evidence on the internet, right?
If Corey gets arrested.
You're not far behind.
If Corey ever gets arrested, either I've been picked up first or that he's directing them to me. Right?
Dig up those flowers.
No, see, that's why we put in dangerous plants.
So, Corey, what's your final thoughts on the original Nightmare on Elm Street?
This movie holds a very dear spot in my heart because it was the very first horror movie I watched, albeit I snuck downstairs while my cousins were watching it. So I never actually saw it front to back, but I watched most of it. Again, the bathtub scene just ingrained in my memory. Yeah, it was, I at that point realized, I'm like, I love this slasher genre. It's so much fun. When I was, at this point then, I'd gone to about 10 or 11 years old. My friend and I, because he was a big horror guy, we would rent, because they didn't care about the ratings back then, we would rent, like marathon rent on VHS, all the movies that were out at the time, and we would watch them. So every weekend I would watch these movies, and they just, this movie is a pivotal part of who I am. And the series is a pivotal part of who I am. And I honestly enjoyed it immensely. Again, that ending is pretty awful. I like an ambiguous ending. Like, I'm a big fan of American Psycho, things like that, where they have that did it actually happen type ending. But this movie just was kind of a mess at the end. And so that's probably stopping me from being perfect, but it's a 4 out of 5 for me, for sure. So
I'm kind of jealous because where I rented movies when I was a kid, it was like the law. Like, you can't rent this. This is 18 plus. You're not 14 yet. Like, they were like, whoa.
I was in Saskatoon. Saskatchewan.
And he still hasn't explained those weird ass bugs mean minus it's Saskatchewan. That's all he's said.
Yeah, they really grow them big down there, right?
They're fucking house cats, the mosquitoes.
It's not even a mosquito though.
Horseflies. Oh my fucking god. Northern Saskatchewan horseflies are their own biosphere.
Somebody save little Timmy. A horsefly's got him.
Yeah, he's flying away with him. Like, fuck, they're awful. And they love the heat from your vehicle. So we'd go camping and we'd pull into a spot and there would just be a blackened swarm in front of the vehicle. And they don't give a shit. Like, they're like wasps. They just see you and they're like, hey, someone to sting. And the thing with horseflies is, I don't know if you know what they do when they sting you. They're literally biting a chunk of your skin out.
Yeah, it's not so much a sting.
Yeah,
bite.
Yeah, and they're fuck. Anyway, nature in Saskatchewan is dangerous.
I can agree.
So don't go there. Is that
No.
what
I go there every year.
weird? It's so really good.
Yeah. We'll go sometime.
Why?
I'll be sick that day.
Yeah, I would take you to Saskatchewan, but I'm going to be sick. That doesn't make any sense.
Jeff and I went last summer. We don't want to go back.
The bugs were like it was raining. I've never seen so many bugs on my windshield where it was just like the wipers couldn't keep up. My wipers literally got stuck to my window.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Do you remember about 20 years ago? About 20 years ago when we had that mosquito infestation where they were so bad.
Okay.
Yeah, we were volunteering down there.
Oh, okay.
James was down there though, right, Laura?
James was, and he did amazing. Though, it's bad when he was, 10 at that point?
Yeah.
You're right, Mom. They really do need to put on more clothes.
Yeah, they were. Craven is like Big Valley back when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like Big Valley's totally tamed down now, right? Like compared to how it used to be. Yeah, Craven's still pretty fucking wild down there. So. Sorry, Corey, I didn't mean to, but there was 2 stories going on, and someone had to take control of the situation.
You gotta learn to multitask.
Yeah.
But no, about 20 years ago, we had this huge mosquito infestation, and like there was millions of them, and like bug spray was not working. Everything. Anyways, so that year I went to Humboldt, hometown, and went to visit the graveyard where a lot of my relatives are, and we pull up, and it sounded like it was raining. Like there were so many of them hitting our window. And so I went, I could only go out for literally 45 seconds before I had to go back in. Mm-hmm. And it was so bad, because of course the reason I wanted to go. So I was so mad about that. But that year, like, it was absolutely nuts. I've never seen so many mosquitoes in my life. Yeah.
I wouldn't remember that because I wasn't in Saskatchewan.
No, I'm pretty sure it was happening here too, because I was living here, not necessarily Camrose, but in Alberta, and we were visiting Saskatchewan. So, and I thought it was happening here too.
Yeah, any final thoughts? Flamethrower for mosquitoes, eh? Final thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street? After we flamethrow all the mosquitoes?
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
I've flamethrown some wasps before. Like a cloud of wasps. It's actually lots of fun. It's like, But I want to hear your final thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street before we get into burning mosquitoes. Yeah.
What do I really say about this movie? I did watch it.
Good for you.
Great, I did watch it.
He's really reaching to the brain for this one.
So I did watch a lot of other movies around it. So it's like, what do I remember of it?
Was there some confusion around this one?
There really was.
That's okay. We got it sorted out.
Yeah, it really is.
You're trying to remember this movie, aren't you?
Yeah.
Great, I basically described the movie to you.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not in sequence, but we did describe it.
Yeah.
That definitely happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the beginning of how the movie started out with them showing that claws and stuff like that, and then I guess
you definitely seen the beginning of this movie.
I did see the beginning of the movie.
I'm thinking he fell asleep with this movie.
No, I watched it early in the morning yesterday. So, and then I started watching other movies around it.
And we watched. Okay, so think of Sonic with a gloved knife hand.
Oh,
what?
Well, I'm trying to help him.
No, no.
When you think of it, Knuckles could be that.
No.
He's got the little spikes on his
He
hand.
does have a little spice in his hand.
That's closer to Wolverine than it is Freddy.
Yeah, that too. Right?
Yeah,
Either way, the opening was really good. I did enjoy everything like that. I did like that. Beginning, yeah, that was a great beginning to it. And then going further into it, I don't know, just wasn't as scary for me. Maybe it's because I watched it a long time ago, and now it's just, well, I didn't watch it previous, but, just everything felt like I knew what was going on. It was just like you were watching a normal TV show. I was like, this is kind of boring. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the way it was for like instead of an 80s movie. So 84. Also 2. So that explains a lot. No, I really did enjoy the movie.
If you had watched it when you were 2, you would have scared the shit out of
No, but I did. I enjoyed the movie, and I did enjoy like the ending of it where Johnny Depp gets sucked in, all that blood goes everywhere. I was like, oh, that is awesome. Otherwise, no, I really did enjoy this movie. I probably rated it 4 out of 5 as well.
Oh, wow.
Being an original, yeah, I do. But I will not talk about the ending. That did suck.
I thought you were going to give it a lower rating after you were just kind of like, I was kind of bored through it, but
Honestly, because you know,
Give it a 90%. It was okay.
you're acknowledging it for what it was at the time.
yeah.
Laura, your final thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street?
As we discussed last week prior to watching this, when Elm Street rates up to like it's in top flop for me. It's my number one go-to. Even when I was looking in the stores, we'd have people come in, ask for a good horror movie. That's the one I'm going to direct them to first.
Mm-hmm.
The ending does lose points for me because it was stupid. But the movie itself, this is the movie that starts desensitizing you to horror movies. This is the one that does it. And so for me, it is a 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
But, like I said, it loses points because of the ending.
But, I was going to touch on this a little bit. There was some continuity stuff that you kind of like, oh, this was bad in Back to the Future, and this was bad Back to the Future. And those problems are more prevalent in this movie than they are in Back to the Future. Like, there's the things that are bad in Back to the Future are so small, yet there's some very large problems in this. Like, there's some aging of the effects, right?
100%. Yeah. 100%.
There's not a ton of continuity errors, but we talked about how poor the ending was, and the ending right from when she pulls Freddy into the real world. From there on, even it's not even just the final scene.
The final act is off.
Yeah, the whole final act is not very good, right?
Yeah.
There's some questionable choices for me, like. I don't understand why the jockey boyfriend didn't do more while Tina was dying, and then runs off into the bushes, but sometimes, as we say, movie's got a movie, right? So I guess it makes sense for him to be on the run. I like the character arc with the mom, but I also think the mom kind of did a shitty job at it. I didn't talk about that very much, but I think her acting becomes really fucking terrible towards the end of it.
Ronnie something. What's her name?
Yeah. I appreciate how iconic this movie is. I appreciate what it's done for popular culture. Freddy as a character is probably in when we did our ranking, I know he ended up in my top 5. I don't remember where he landed, but he's the most iconic horror villain of all time, in my opinion. I think he's number 1. He was pretty fleshed out in here, but I don't think he got to the heights that he gets to the next ones, right? Like, he doesn't quite have that charisma yet.
Part 3.
But he's almost there. Like, he's almost right at that point, which is impressive because a lot of times it takes some time for that traction to happen. And he's almost right there already, right? All the elements are perfect. He's not quite as witty as he gets. He's definitely not funny yet. But, he's still, he's so menacing. If this movie was just based on the Freddy character, it'd be a 5 out of 5 for me. But there's a lot of other points where this movie really lets me down. I don't think Nancy was a well done character. Like, there's a lot of stuff surrounding this perfect icon that really let me down. So I can't give this any higher for me a Temple of Doom. Like, I guess that's where it lives for me. I don't want to shit on it too much because I appreciate it's where it lays in culture. I appreciate like how it was done for the time. I'm not even gonna crap on any of these effects. Some of the stuff is really good, like the hand in the tub, the slashing of the back was really done, like well done. Her going up the wall, all of that was done amazing for its time, right? But like magically, oh no, you don't believe in me anymore, and that stupid effect
Yeah,
when he goes,
yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah,
that
like
was
CGI static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was terrible. The mom that was clearly a mannequin at the last scene. And I love endings in movies like that where it gets kind of like, holy fuck, they're still dreaming, right? But just the execution of the end was not good, right?
And that's why even for me it loses points on that part is because the ending was bad.
hmm The score is magnificent in this, though.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, Wes Craven's a master at creating tension, right?
Like if they didn't, I was gonna say, if they didn't play the mom, so just kiss the girl, let her go in the car, and didn't play her, just cut her out.
At that ending scene?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
ending scene.
Yeah.
Let the kid kind of locked in, and then pan to the three girls skipping, and then the song.
Yeah.
That would have been okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that would have been an okay ending. But they left it because of the mom grabbing through the door. I'm like, well, that just lost points on that.
See, and when you think of it that way too, you're right, they filmed it backwards.
Yep.
Because when they go outside, the girls are right there.
Yep.
hmm
And they should not have been right there.
The girls should have been.
Yeah, but nobody knew who the girls were yet at this point. They weren't iconic in the series yet as they became.
It impresses me they were there because I didn't think they came till later on because they're such an iconic part. And I was like, wow, like there's so many of these iconic elements right from the start.
And you're right on that one because there's the rhyme. All of it is iconic, but you don't really pay attention to the fact that they are in the first one.
hmm
Like Nancy's singing it while she's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, even when they're talking about it together, she's like, "Oh, it's just like the old one too. Freddy's coming for you," and I'm like, "Okay, you know this rhyme. This rhyme was more than likely derived from maybe she heard her mom sing it, and that's why I don't know." So
Well, I think that was in her dream, was it not? The girl
Maybe, yeah.
skipping.
yeah,
Yeah,
Because it starts off with is that Nancy's dream or Tina's dream?
Tina's dream, yeah.
But they established that they're all having the same dream.
Damn goats.
Um,
It's always the goats.
So I have a very off-topic but yet not question that I want to ask everybody. What movie disturbed you? It was so scary. Not a top list. I'm not making a whole new podcast. I just want this one answer.
I want to say one of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels was it for me because I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, but I definitely remember watching one of the sequels and I'm just like, oh, this is too much for me, right? Like, but I was not a horror kid like you guys. It was just
No, that's why I want everyone's opinion because everyone's opinion is going to vary.
And to an even higher degree, like that was an early on, very young, oh, that freaked me out. And then the original Tim Curry, that movie fucking scared the fuck out of me for years.
I love that movie.
I could not do horror movies anymore at all after the original It. What about you, Daddy? Is there any for you?
Dr. Giggles, the dentist.
Nice.
The one where it's there back in his house and he's got a dentist office downstairs and gives that horrible smile and
That was Jeffrey Combs, wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Like that freaked me out quite a bit. That was my first. Well, I've watched scary movies before, but this one was
anime.
this one kind of freaked me out because I didn't. Yeah. And then my next one was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though not the first one, but the one with Jessica Biel.
Oh, the remake.
The remake where the camera guy's going down and he just pops out at the police camera guy, and they're just going down, and that kind of got me off guard because I wasn't ready for it. That
think
made
the-
me jump a little bit, like, holy shit.
When
It
the-
made me stop watching horror movies, but that kind of gave me, like, holy crap, this is all right.
When the guy shot himself in the head there, or a girl, or whatever it was, and then they pan from back the bullet hole through to the front, that was intense.
Yeah.
You and me saw that in the theater together, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was you and me, and that made me think of our friend Sean.
Yeah.
What was that movie he walked out of?
We went and watched Crazy.
The Crazies, yeah.
Crazies.
We had a friend walk out halfway through the movie.
No, not even halfway through the movie. Like the beginning of that movie.
We drove all the way up to Silver City.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nope, I'm out. Because we weren't even to the bad part of that movie yet.
That movie bored me.
But those were my two movies.
Laura, was there anything that disturbed you as a kid?
As a kid, Cujo, I still can't stand St. Bernard's. That one freaked me out.
Cujo got me a little bit too, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, I would watch Cujo. Well, that was the same year that I watched it, but I'm not afraid of clowns. But I am terrified of St. Bernard's.
Yeah.
And so again, I would have been about 5 when I watched that one. And yeah, no, I still can't stand them. My neighbors across the alley have a St. Bernard. If it is out, I am not outside. Like, I don't care if they depict that thing as bringing me medicine now. That fucker's going to eat me. Now, like, I can watch Cujo, and it's more on the boring side now, but I still don't like the dog. The one that disturbs me now is the horror girl next door. It doesn't scare me, but it disturbs me.
The Horror Girl Next Door. I don't think. How new is this?
It is based off of the very first CPS case in the States.
Hmm.
And the torture that this girl goes through at the hands of her aunt disturbs the living hell out of me. I have never walked away from a horror movie. I got up and walked away.
Did you have something in mind, Corey, when you brought up this question?
Well, so, I mean, when I was a kid, I was about 8 years old, I watched Michael Jackson's Thriller, right? And, no, just hear me out. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic, right? But for some fucking reason, I would have reoccurring nightmares from that video. Like, between, I would dream that he was coming to get me, or I would dream that, like, his horde there were out to get me, and the scene where they zoom into his eyes at the end of the video would just ingrain in my mind, and I don't know why, but it lived with me for probably 10 years. Like, I'm talking, I was in my teens and I'd still have these dreams, and it's stuck hard. So I'd still even say that movie, like, it's kind of a movie.
Not
The
really.
music video?
Yeah. It's a mini movie. It's 15 minutes long, so.
It is. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
I'd say that's a long music video.
Yeah, but so that when I was younger, and honestly, what really actually, I don't know why it disturbed me as much as it did, but 1408.
Oh, that one would, yeah.
Yeah.
Even Steven, when we watched it, because he started watching horror movies with me. This was when he was still fairly young watching horror movies with me. We watched that, and he's like, Dad, I never want to watch that again.
Because 1408 is literally a mind fuck.
It is. That's what makes it so scary. Is it makes you question your own sanity watching, and that's the whole point of the movie. Is John Cusack is questioning his sanity watching the movie or living the movie. So
Does it? I'm sure we've talked about it, but does it jive with the book well?
You know what? This is one of those rare circumstances that I can actually say because of the actor, the movie was better.
It does happen from time to time.
It does.
it was a short story in all fairness, right? I mean, there's a lot of times the short stories can be done better when put in movies, and then there's movies like Boogeyman, which I was so excited for because I love that short story, and the movie was bad. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but it was bad.
Right.
So
Shawshank Redemption, Stand By Me.
yeah,
Those are all short
Are
stories.
short stories, yeah.
Well, they did very well in the movies was.
Mhm.
The Body.
The Body,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But 1408, the only reason that one is a success in the way that it is because of John Cusack.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Samuel Jackson's like 5 minutes in the movie.
Right.
He's on the cover.
I know. He's barely in it.
So for that, and they actually state he is the selling point for the movie, even though he's not in it, really.
Scream had, when I saw Scream in the theater, it had Drew Barrymore in Scream. There was a contract out that she was the draw girl for the movie because she was the only known actress at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put her on the poster, they put her on the marquee, they put her on everything to get people in, and she dies in like 5 minutes. So
I think that was kind of like a purposeful thing. Like they wanted to make you think
Fake out.
that she was safe. Yeah, it was a fake out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they do it all the time because it draws the crowds.
Well, I think the Scream one though wasn't like the Samuel L. Jackson was clearly a draw. That one was done on purpose, I thought, by Wes Craven to be like, you're gonna think that she's the main star, and we're gonna get her right away. That was
Well, even all the later ones, if you look at it, Nev Campbell is not the biggest feature in that movie, or on any of those posters.
Mhm.
No. Maybe 3, but that's about it.
That's about it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna worry when she's finally the
Depicted?
no when they have her as the lead. Like,
Oh.
they're starring Nev Campbell.
I think they're going to do that for this new one.
Yeah, this new one, I think
they're going to kill her. I think so.
Which,
Yeah.
you know,
It makes sense.
Which is too bad. I love those movies. Every one of them. No matter how bad they are, I love them. So
Is this gonna be number 7?
yes.
Yes.
And they should have killed her in number 6 or number
She wasn't
3.
in 6.
they should have killed her in number 2.
No, you gotta
3 was stupid. Actually.
Exactly.
do it in the you gotta do it in the third one though. That's the rules.
No, that's only with the villain.
Nah, I thought the lead character can die in the third one.
Well, Nancy dies in the third one. So.
The lead character can die in any movie, but the villain, if you want to have any sequels, has to be the third one.
Hmm. Huh. Well,
Anyway.
with that, guys, I think it's time we all say goodnight and adieu.
Good night. I do. I really, really do.
Laura, say goodnight.
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell Corey said.
Sound of music.
Ray, a drop of golden sun. Right?
Man.
Is that it?
Anyway, bye.
Danny, say goodbye.
Bye.